Nobody teaches you that becoming wealthy will cost you the version of yourself that wanted it. You think the climb is about money. It is not. The money is just the scoreboard. What the climb is actually about is a series of quiet transformations, and most of them happen to you before you ever notice they are happening. The way you talk changes. The rooms you walk into change, the people who stay change, and the people who drift away change, and one day you look up and you are someone your younger self would not fully recognize. This is the story of new money, not inherited, not handed down, earned. Built from a starting point of nothing by someone who decided the story they were born into was not the story they were going to finish. And I'm not going to walk you through it the way most channels do, with net worth checkpoints and a celebration at the end. I am going to show you what each level actually does to you, what it gives you, what it quietly takes, and the specific unglamorous price tag attached to every single tier of getting what you said you wanted. Because new money does not just change your bank account, it changes you. And nobody warns you about the parts that hurt. At the start, you do not have money and you do not have a plan. What you have is a feeling, a specific low, constant pressure in your chest that you cannot fully name and cannot turn off. You see it everywhere. You see it when a friend casually mentions a vacation you could not afford. You see it when your card gets declined for an amount that embarrasses you. You see it in the way your parents talk about money, or more accurately, the way they do not talk about it, because in your house, money was the silent argument behind every closed door. This is the hunger. And here is the first thing nobody tells you about it. The hunger is not a flaw. The world will try to convince you that wanting more is greedy, that ambition is a kind of betrayal of where you came from, that you should be content. Ignore that. The hunger is the engine. Everything you eventually build runs on it. But the hunger by itself is not enough. And this is where most people stay stuck for years. They feel the pressure, but they never convert it. They scroll videos like this one. They feel motivated for an afternoon, and then nothing in their actual behavior changes. At level 1, you are not poor because of how much you make. You are poor because of how you relate to money. It is purely emotional. Every dollar is either relief or fear. You spend to feel better. You avoid your bank balance to feel safe. And emotional money decisions compound in exactly the wrong direction. What changes you at this level is not income. It is a single decision made in a quiet moment, usually alone, usually at night, where you stop wishing and you start deciding. That decision does not look like anything from the outside. Your bank account does not move, but internally the engine just turned over for the first time. Here is what level 1 costs you. Comfort. The moment you decide to build, you forfeit the right to be comfortable for a long time. That is the entry fee. Most people are not willing to pay it. You are about to find out if you are. You start. And starting looks nothing like the thumbnail. There is no Lamborghini at level 2. There is a laptop on a second-hand desk and a notebook and a list of goals you wrote out one night that you have not told anyone about. You are tired in a way that sleep does not fix. This is the grind, and the defining feature of the grind is that it is invisible. The results have not arrived yet. The trajectory is real, you can feel it, but from the outside you do not look like someone who is winning. You look like someone who is struggling and tired and slightly antisocial. And the world treats you accordingly. Here is where the transformation in your relationships begins, and it begins quietly. You start saying no, no to the night out, no to the trip, no to the thing everyone else is doing, because every dollar and every hour is going into the machine you are building. And the people around you notice. Some of them get it, most of them do not. You will hear the comments, you think you are better than us now, you have changed, you never come around anymore. And here's the painful truth, you have changed. Not into someone better than them, into someone on a different schedule, paying a different price, pointed at a different destination. But they cannot see the destination, they can only see your absence. Your first attempts will fail. This is not a possibility, it is close to a guarantee. The first business idea, the first investment, the first version of the thing, most of it does not work. You will lose money you did not have to lose, and the voice in your head, the one that sounds like every doubter you have ever known, gets very loud in those moments. What changes you at level 2 is learning that failure is not a verdict, it is tuition. Every failed attempt is teaching you something the successful version of you will need. Most people quit here because they mistake the tuition for the final grade. Here is what level 2 costs you. Belonging. For a stretch of years, you will not fully belong anywhere. You have outgrown the old world, but you have not yet earned your way into the new one. You are in between. And in between is a lonely place to live. Then, one ordinary day, something works. A deposit hits that you did not trade an hour of your day for. A side income crosses a threshold. A business gets its first real momentum. It is not life-changing money, but it is proof. And proof, after years of running on nothing but faith, hits harder than the dollar amount alone can explain. This is the first traction, and it changes you in a way that is genuinely dangerous if you are not aware of it, because the first taste of money after a long hunger creates a powerful urge to show it, to buy the thing, to post the thing, to let everyone who doubted you finally see. I want you to understand exactly what that urge is, because the competitor channels will not tell you. That urge is not ambition, that urge is the hunger from level 1. And the hunger was never really about money. It was about being seen, being respected, being told that you matter. And money cannot actually buy that. It can only rent a temporary, hollow version of it. The people who break through level 3 and the people who get stuck cycling through it forever are separated by exactly one habit. The ones who break through reinvest the first traction. The ones who stay stuck spend it on the performance of having made it. They buy the watch, they lease the car, they fund the image, and the image eats the very capital that was supposed to fund the next level. At level 3, you also start to attract a new kind of person. People who were not interested in you during the grind suddenly are. Opportunities appear. Some of them are real. Many of them are people who can smell momentum and want to attach themselves to it. You have to develop a skill you never needed before, the ability to tell the difference between someone who values you and someone who values your trajectory. Here is what level 3 costs you. Certainty about who your people are. Money introduces a variable into every relationship that was not there before. From this level forward, you will occasionally wonder about people's motives. That wondering never fully goes away. It is one of the quietest and most permanent taxes on new money. At level 4, the nature of the game changes completely. Up to this point, you have been trading effort for money, working harder, longer, smarter. At level 4, that stops being the strategy. Because you have learned the single most important distinction in all of wealth building, the difference between earning money and building things that earn money. You start thinking in systems. An investment portfolio that compounds whether you show up or not. A business that runs on processes and people instead of your personal labor. Assets that generate income while you sleep. You are no longer the engine, you are the person who builds and maintains the engine. This is the level where new money starts to feel less like a sprint and more like architecture. You are not chasing the next dollar, you are asking different questions. Not how do I make more, but where is what I've already built positioned and what is it producing and what am I not seeing? And here, the transformation in who you are becomes undeniable. You think in longer time horizons now. A year is a short period to you. You have learned patience, not as a personality trait, but as a financial skill. You make decisions at midnight with a calculator and no audience, and you have stopped needing anyone to applaud them. Your relationships have sorted themselves out by now. The people who drifted away during the grind are mostly gone, and you have grieved that, quietly, in a way you do not talk about. The people who remain are either family who love you regardless of the number, or peers who are running their own version of the same race. Your social circle is smaller now. It is also, for the first time, honest. You have money now, real money, not generational, not untouchable, but real. The daily financial anxiety that ran underneath your entire life is finally gone. And you notice something strange in its absence. You spent so many years fighting that anxiety that you half expected its disappearance to feel like joy. It does not feel like joy. It feels like quiet, and the quiet takes some getting used to. Here is what level 4 costs you. The simplicity of the struggle. When you were climbing, the goal was obvious: survive, build, ascend. Now the goal is not handed to you anymore. You have the resources and the freedom, and you have to decide consciously what they are actually for. That is a harder question than it sounds. Many people who reach this level are quietly unprepared for it. And then you arrive. The wealth is real and it is substantial. By any external measure, you made it. The thumbnail came true. The suit, the home, the car, the security. The version of you from level 1, lying awake at night with that pressure in his chest, would look at your life now and believe that every problem he had was solved. He would be wrong, and understanding why he is wrong is the most important thing in this entire video. Here is what arrival actually feels like. The money solves every problem that money was ever capable of solving. The bills, the security, the options, the freedom, all genuinely handled. And that is not nothing. Do not let anyone tell you it is nothing. It is enormous. But the money does not touch the problems that were never financial. It does not automatically repair the relationships that strained during the climb. It does not return the years. It does not resolve the question of whether the people around you are there for you or for the number. And it does not on its own tell you who you are now that you are no longer the hungry person you spent your whole life being. That last one catches almost everyone off guard. For your entire life, the hunger was your identity. The climb was your purpose. You knew exactly who you were because you knew exactly what you were fighting for, and then you win, and the fight is over. And there is a strange, quiet grief in that because a version of you, the underdog, the striver, the one with something to prove, that version is no longer needed, and you have to let him go. Here is the truth about new money that the celebration thumbnails will never show you. Arrival is not a finish line. It is a doorway into a different and more honest set of questions. Not can I make it, but what do I want to build now that I can build anything? Not will I be okay, but who am I when I am not fighting to be okay? The people who are genuinely happy at this level are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones who somewhere during the climb built a life alongside the wealth, relationships they protected, a sense of self that was not entirely outsourced to the number. A reason that went deeper than proving the doubters wrong. They climbed and they also kept something, and the keeping turned out to be the harder skill. So here is what every level was actually teaching you. Underneath the dollars, level 1 taught you that the hunger is the engine, but the hunger is not really about money. Level 2 taught you that the price of building is a stretch of years where you belong nowhere. Level 3 taught you that the urge to show your success is the hunger in disguise, and that money rents respect but cannot buy it. Level 4 taught you to build systems instead of trading hours, and that the disappearance of financial anxiety feels less like joy and more like quiet. And level 5 taught you that arrival does not solve the problems that were never financial, and that you will have to consciously decide who you are once the fight is won. New money is one of the most genuinely transformative journeys a person can take. It is also one of the most misunderstood because the people selling you the dream only show you the thumbnail and never the cost. The cost is real. Comfort, belonging, certainty about your people, the simplicity of the struggle, and eventually the underdog identity that carried you the whole way. You pay all of it. Every level extracts its fee. But here's the other side, and it is just as true. What you receive is also real. Freedom, options, the end of the financial fear that runs underneath most people's entire lives. The ability to take care of the people you love, the proof that the ceiling you were born under was never actually the ceiling. Those things are worth the fee. For the right person, built the right way, they are worth it many times over. The mistake is not pursuing new money. The mistake is pursuing it without knowing what it costs, so that you arrive at level 5 having paid every fee without ever deciding on purpose what you are buying. Somewhere right now, there is a version of you at the very beginning, lying awake. That pressure in the chest, the hunger with no plan attached to it yet. He thinks the money is the answer. He thinks if he just gets there, everything resolves. He is not entirely wrong. The money does solve a great deal, but he is not entirely right either. And the gap between what he thinks the climb is and what the climb actually is, that gap is the whole story. If you are at level 1 right now, feeling the hunger, understand that the hunger is not your enemy, it is your engine. Use it. But build a life while you build the wealth. Protect the relationships, hold on to a sense of who you are that does not depend entirely on the number. Climb, but keep something because new money will give you almost everything you imagined it would. It just sends an invoice for each level on the way up. And the people who end up genuinely wealthy, in the full sense of that word, are the ones who read the invoice carefully, paid it on purpose, and knew exactly what they were buying. Every level changes you. The only question is whether you let it change you by accident or whether you decide deliberately who you are becoming on the way up.